Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 things I've learned after doing a little over a year of pop-up markets or craft shows. So I first started doing pop-up markets before I actually launched my business full-time. I was doing it just here and there. Every few months I would do one and just kind of use this as an outlet to sell off some of the things that I had been making mostly as a hobby. But ever since I launched my business full-time in April of 2022, I have been attending a lot of pop-up markets or craft shows. Through this experience and the markets I attended before going full-time, I've learned quite a few things, and I wanted to share with you 5 tips that I think will be helpful for you if you're just starting out or need some more help with your pop-up markets. The first thing I wanted to share with you is the most important thing, in my opinion: invest in a good quality tent. I know it can be kind of difficult to go ahead and bite the bullet and buy a more expensive tent, but here's why I think it's worth it. After a year and almost a half of doing pop-up markets, I have seen a lot of my co-workers or other small business friends have to replace their tent. A lot of people tell me that their average life cycle for a tent is just 1 year. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't really want to be spending like $100 to $150 on a tent every year. So that's why I'm so glad when I started doing markets, I went ahead and bought a more expensive tent. I believe it was $200 something at the time, and I'll link the exact one I have down below. But this tent has served me well. I've attended 15 pop-up markets using my same tent, in addition to all the events that I attended last year. My tent has held up so well. Yes, it's not in perfect condition, but it is still a long ways from needing to be replaced. And there's a few things that I really like about this tent and I think set it apart. First of all, my tent came with the weights and it came with the sides. These are typically additional costs that other people have to purchase in the future if you're buying a less expensive tent, because most events require tent weights, and if it's bad weather, you're going to want the sides. Additionally, my tent comes with a bag that has wheels on the bottom so that it makes it really easy to transport to and from my events and roll it right from my car to my space, whether that's in the ground, on the gravel, wherever. The second thing I want to share with you is that your display is not going to work how you think it will. You can practice setting up, and I definitely recommend that, but when you get to your first event or the first time using a new display, you're going to find that the flow is different than you expect. So I would recommend just being flexible and not investing too much money into your display for your very first event, and instead trying out a few markets, trying out a few different locations, and seeing what you should improve and then invest in quality displays. The third tip is that there's 3 things I think you should always bring to every market besides obviously your product and everything. The first one is a fan. This especially applies if it is the summer or if you live in a warmer environment. I used to not bring a fan. This one was like $10 on Amazon, I'll link it below, and this has been a game changer. The second thing is a portable phone charger. I have forgotten this so many times, and it's always when I forget it that I need it, and then I feel stressed for the rest of the day about will I have enough charge to complete my transactions through my phone. The final thing, speaking of transactions, is to bring an alternate method of taking payment. So my main method is this contactless reader, but sometimes if I forget it or it dies unexpectedly, or even if the Bluetooth is having trouble connecting, I end up using this little card reader that plugs into a phone. They have it for iPhone and Android, and these little ones are usually free. This one cost about $50. I've even had this stolen before, and then I had to rely on my small payment method, so always make sure you have another way to collect payment. My fourth tip is to always, if you're able, bring something to work on. If you're a maker and you make earrings, Bring a few sets that you need to put post on. If you're a weaver or macrame artist like I am, bring some cord and whatever tools you need so that if there's a lull in the market, which happens quite often, you're not just sitting there wasting time. It's always the days that I forget my supplies that I wish I had them the most. You may not pull them out the whole time, and hopefully you'll be busy enough that you don't have to, but there's nothing worse than just sitting there wasting time. My 5th tip is to make yourself a checklist well ahead of time of everything you need to bring to your market, and then check it every single time. It doesn't matter if this is your first market or your 50th market. You will forget things. I have forgotten some really crucial items like my contact list reader, that's why you need a backup, or maybe I forgot to bring change in case someone pays with cash, or even down to like a certain product of mine or something like that. So if you have a checklist and you run through it every single time, you'll save yourself in the long run from making some mistakes the morning of in the panic of packing your car and trying to get there on time. That wraps up my 5 tips. I hope these have been helpful for you. If you want some more tips or some more details on any of these concepts, please feel free to reach out or leave a comment down below. I'm happy to share any information that I've learned along the way. While you're at it, if you could go ahead and like and subscribe so I can come back with more DIY and small business related videos, I would really appreciate it. See you next time.